Hi everybody, it is Gin Dolkeshi here with a new champion guide for you. Since we started with Heimerdinger, let's keep with the techmaturgical theme and go to my second favorite champion, Blitzcrank, the Great Steam Golem. Are you fired up and ready to serve? Let's learn how to Blitzcrank. Blitzcrank is an extremely versatile champion who, with the right build, can do well in most any position. As jungler, as support, as solo top, as a pure tank, as AD or AP. He brings to the game a ton of crowd control on short cooldowns, but requires a good deal of finesse to properly control. Today we will be covering just one way to play him, but be aware and experiment, for there are many ways to do it. Blitzcrank's passive is Mana Barrier. When Blitzcrank's hit points are brought below 20%, he activates a shield, equal to 50% of his current mana that lasts for 10 seconds, which can be activated once a minute. Our robot friend is already fairly tanky, and this gives him even more life to work with, often granting enough time to get into killing blows or make your escape. It's worth remembering that the shield is based on your current mana, not your max, so if you spam your abilities way too much, you'll be out of luck very quickly. His Q is Rocket Grab. Rocket Grab. Rocket Grab. Rocket Grab. Need I say more? It does also deal a nice chunk of magic damage, but the important thing is his unique ability to pull enemies towards you, even through walls. A few words of warning on this one. Firstly, you can also grab and pull minions, so be very careful. Smart enemies will hide behind the minion waves to keep you from grabbing them, so you'll have to outmaneuver them. Second, due to the awesome power of Rocket Grab to set up attacks for your allies, failing to pull properly may cause your teammates to rage at you. It's unfair, but it happens. When you do make those awesome grabs though, it feels so rewarding, oh my. I take 1 point Rocket Grab at first level for the utility, and max at last. Blitzcrank's W is Overdrive, granting a temporary boost to attack and movement speeds. It's a fairly basic steroid skill, but with a few important uses to note. First, with enough cooldown reduction, Overdrive can act like an almost permanent ghost spell, making a fleeing Blitzcrank very difficult to chase. Whenever you leave the base, always cast Overdrive, as the mana will regenerate while you leave, and the spell will be off cooldown once you get back into the fight. Once you have enough mana, you'll essentially want to hit this whenever you start hitting something, be it champion or tower. There's a little more finesse that can go into it, but we'll get to that later. I take my first point in Overdrive at level 3 and max at second. Next is Power Fist, which causes Robo Buddy's next attack to deal twice as much attack damage and, most importantly, knock the target up in the air. It also has a very short cooldown, ranging from 9 seconds at first rank down to 5 at 5th rank, and with cooldown reduction you can drop this all the way to 3 seconds, making this a ridiculous piece of crowd control. The combination of Power Fist and Rocket Grab is extremely powerful and can get your team quite a few kills in the early game. In addition, Power Fist resets your attack timer, meaning if you use it immediately after an attack lands, he will attack again rather than wait a moment as usual. However, it also means that if you cast it during a strike, it may reset that attack first, so you have to be careful. I take my first point in Power Fist at level 2 and max it as soon as possible so that I can use it as often as I can. Finally, we come to Blitzcrank's ultimate, Static Field. While not on cooldown, every 2.5 seconds a lightning bolt will arc down from this metallic masterpiece and hit an enemy at random for magic damage. When activated, he deals a burst of magic damage to all enemies around him and silences them for half a second. Always aim to cast this in the middle of a team fight, where you can hit as many people as possible. But, if you can't, it serves just as well to crush enemies when fighting solo, while interrupting their spellcasting. The cooldown for the spell is a mere 30 seconds, by the way, or even 20 if you have enough cooldown reduction, so feel free to cast it to clear minion waves if you think it's safe enough. It feels awesome to push a button and watch massive waves fall in your wake. As an ultimate, and a good one at that, I take a point in Static Field every chance it's available. I build Blitzcrank as an AD tanky DPS champion, with runes of attack speed marks, flat armor seals, magic resistance per level glyphs, and flat attack damage quintessences. For Masteries, I use 20-0-10, making sure to get both cooldown reduction and attack speed in the offense tree, as well as the bonus damage to towers. Some may scoff at these choices, particularly at not taking Executioner at the end of the tree, and for taking Demolitionist for turret damage. And I feel that while dealing damage with Blitzcrank is great, he doesn't deal particularly high burst damage. In general, his job is to set up attacks for your more bursty champions. Instead, Blitzcrank is particularly skilled at pushing towers, and with a combination of Overdrive and Power Fist, he can chew through them very quickly. That should be his focus when not fighting, and in fights, he should be controlling the battlefield, pulling enemies into undesirable positions, knocking them up, and silencing them. If you're playing on Dominion though, of course that mastery is useless, so feel free to move it around to your liking. I recommend another point in swiftness. For spells, I prefer Flash and Teleport on Summoner's Rift for efficient tower pushing and gank setups. On Dominion, I take Ghost and Garrison, as you'll be running around quite quickly defending and pushing turrets, like a rolling golem should. Itemization is the same on either map, though the order may be slightly different. On Summoner's Rift, I start with a Sapphire Crystal and 2 health potions, for more mana and an increased shield. Then, if I feel aggressive, I turn the crystal into a Sheen. If I feel defensive, I turn the crystal into a Tear of the Goddess. You'll be building both, but the order can easily be shifted. Combined with a pair of boots, such as Ninja Tabi, Mercury Treads, or Ionian Boots of Lucidity, you have the core of your build. From there, we turn the Tear into a Manamune, and the Sheen into a Trinity Force. If money or time remains beyond that point, we can start building tanky or damage items as the situation demands, such as Frozen Heart, Frozen Mallet, Yomu's Ghost Blade, or Bloodthirster. In Dominion, I always begin with a Tear of the Goddess and a pair of boots, as while you wait for the game to start, there is plenty of time to spam spells and rack up tons of extra mana. After the initial engagements, I purchase Sheen, and then we continue as normal from there. This build focused particularly on building mana, which not only gives us the ability to spam spells more, but gives us a larger shield, and, in the form of Sheen and Manamune, more damage. In particular, there are a few tricks you can pull to maximize your usage of these items. Once you have Tear of the Goddess, cast 2 spells whenever you leave the fountain, and cast spells often in general. As often as you cast spells, and as short as the cooldowns are, you can easily build up a large chunk of mana for your use without interrupting your fights in the lanes. With Sheen, you want to try and get in an auto attack in between casting any spells if you can help it. For an example of a full combo on a single target, if you grab someone, punch them, then reset your attack timer with Power Fist, and knock them up. Hit Overdrive and hit them again. Use your ult and hit them once more, and if you still need to keep going, your Power Fist could be off cooldown now to keep them in place for more of a beating. Let's cover a few quick examples while we're here. Here I am laning with Talon, an awesomely bursty champion that we can take advantage of with our good old friend Blitzcrank. Kog'Maw decides to get a little too close to the tower without minions, and a pole knockup combo makes short work of him. Then we run from his passive, not because we might die, but to keep more damage from hitting our friend. Our own passive ensures we really don't need to worry here. From there, we decide to engage on his partner, and a grab and Power Fist and a Talon's own exhaust means he isn't going anywhere. It's always important to remember that Rocket Grab can pull things through walls too. Here we're trying to set ourselves up to grab Dragon, but most of their team is up, and it's not particularly safe. However, Fizz is the most bursty target, and he decides to just stick his neck out where he thinks we can't see him. But a nice grab and he explodes. And then Baron's all ours, and only one of them can try and take it, and no, he ain't going anywhere. It's always important to remember that you don't necessarily need to use Rocket Grab to initiate all the time. Here, for example, I just decide that I don't want their turret standing anymore, so I walk up and crush it, and then we turn around and kick their butts. Basically, all we need to do is Power Fist to keep them in place, and everybody dies, except for us, of course. In Dominion, we're going to save ourselves a point. We cast Garrison to break their channel and head around to try and catch Gangplank. I try to lead him with my grab, but he quickly jukes right, which instead leaves him at the mercy of the Point's tower and my Power Fist. In the chaos, Gragas drunkenly takes down Aurelia, and we all converge on LeBlanc for a crushing victory. Here we have another fight at Windmill that serves to show that you can grab people through basically any obstruction on the map. Once we show up, Evelyn tries to get away, and even though she manages to grab the health relic, a well-placed grab and a few power fists ensure that she can't get away quickly enough. Next we turn to LeBlanc, who we'd like to grab a hold of, but Kog'Maw's Ignite saves us the trouble. Aurelia dives onto me, thinking I'm an easy kill, but forgets that I have a passive, which gives Kog'Maw and I more than enough time to grab her fleeing form and wreck her. This last part is just kinda silly, as I was doing pretty poorly this game, but it's something worth remembering. Mundo and Lulu here were trying to take the point, which they did, and I failed to stop them, so I flee for my life back to base. Now, I get there, but a well-placed axe from Mundo could have easily killed me, so I turn around and grab him. Little do they know that the laser from the platform can kill Mundo almost instantly, particularly if I power fist him so he can't go anywhere. Yeah, power fist plus lasers melts faces. And that's it from me. Hopefully this has given you a pretty good idea of how to play Blitzcrank. Just remember to land those grabs and you will be a god among golems. See you on the fields of justice, summoners. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Sweet.
No!
Hear my clarity.
No!
Clarity totally won that for me.
Totally.